Let's get your view on how you think this fight will play out stylistically.
Well, I mean, this is I've known Canelo since he was 15. 15. I met him since he was 15. Seen his growth pretty much. I'm not going to say from start, but once into that 30 something fights to now, somebody that loves challenges, loves going after the impossible, going up to weight classes. I never would have dreamt early on that he would ever have even thought about fighting in the light heavyweight division, and he did it a couple times. This is a fight, and this is really out to the fans more than anything that I saw early on. Um, to jump in two divisions, he's too small. Canelo's a small guy to begin with. He's just wide. If anybody can do it and anybody can be successful, it is a type of fighter like Crawford. Um, stylistically, Crawford has a lot. In fact, I've said in the past, I've mentioned um, in other podcasts and everything that Crawford reminds me a bit of a marvelous Marvin Hagler, sort of a chip on your shoulder, a fighter who not necessarily a southpaw, but he can switch. And it's not that he's mean, but he goes in there to do what he has to do, and he's very intelligent at doing it. And I know in the past, obviously, we've seen it stylistically. The fighters that give Canelo problems are the ones that box and move. If you come to try to knock him out, he's a master counterpuncher. So I just tell fans that look, and everybody knows me. I'm on the Canelo side, and I'll hold the Canelo flag proudly, and I believe in his ability because he has a lot of talent. But it's a dangerous fight. It is a dangerous fight. It's a good fight. I mean, uh, I do see in Crawford as someone that's not just coming from the payday. The payday's probably very lucrative and would convince many of us to step in the ring with Canelo. But I do believe that he believes he can win, and it's going to be hard to convince him otherwise. So I do see a very competitive fight. Can it end with one punch because Canelo's too big, too strong, and too powerful? No, no. And I say that because I don't see one punch knocking out a fighter of the level of Crawford. I see the way to knock him out, if you're going to knock him out, it's going to be consistency of combinations. So it can't be just, boom, I caught him like, for instance, Amir Khan, and you knocked him out because he made a mistake. He's going to be more of, I had to break you down over the amount of rounds, and maybe the corner says that's it. But I don't see him saying, okay, stop it. No, I see him continue. So I do see a very good, entertaining fight. And I mean, I see Canelo winning. Yes, like I said, I sport that shirt, but um, it's not going to be easy. I really think this is one of those. They said it at the press conference. This is not promotion for the fight, but I do see this being one of those fights that we can talk about 10 years from now, 15 years, like we do today of Hagler, Hearns, Hagler, Leonard. Look, Leonard went up and beat Hagler, who even me at the time and being the biggest Leonard fan, I thought, oh man, you're biting off more than you can chew. You're coming off a long layoff, and you're fighting this beast. You're gonna get hurt, and he did it. He did it.
Um, do you think Crawford's taking too big of a risk moving up? Because it is a huge jump if you look at it in terms of weight and size.
It is a huge jump, but if I put on my manager hat, my
Hmm.
advisor hat, and I say, people are saying, okay, he had a tough time with Madrimov. Madrimov's no joke. He had a lot of experience. He was undefeated. I think it was hard with Madrimov because of a lot of feints and constant moving, so it's hard to like set up. But whatever the reason is, it was a closer fight than people, or than maybe even Crawford believes. But if I put on my manager hat, okay, let's go to 60. and then maybe do one fight at 68 and test the waters. What happens if you lose? Bye bye Canelo fight. So it's a risk not worth taking. It's better to take the jump. You have a way out if if you lose because it's like, oh, it wasn't my weight.
Yeah.
But if you win, that's huge because only those generational greats can achieve something like that. And I think that's why originally Canelo wasn't interested in this fight because the haters are going to say, oh, if he beats him, whether by knockout or decision, you beat a little guy. And if you struggle with him and win a decision or tight decision or something, oh, you struggled with a little guy. Or if he loses, you lost to a little guy. They never seem to give the credit to when it's due. So I think that was one of the reasons he was reserved and even attracted to this fight. But now we're here, it's there, and it's happening.
You spent a lot of time with Canelo Alvarez over the years. You've seen him develop, grow up, become into what he is today. What do you think gives him the X factor that other fighters don't have? What's that one thing?
The confidence comes from the experience. He's seen every style out there. Every time they told him you can't do it, he's done it outside of obviously Bivol and Floyd. But also when you do something so much and he prepares 100% every time, um, I think the confidence comes from the preparation, the hard work put into the gym, knowing that okay, I'm ready, and the experience that you've done it so many times, you do it now with your eyes closed.
Hmm. Yeah, Canelo's in a position where he doesn't need to take these sorts of fights. I mean, he's got a lot of money. He's very comfortable. What do you believe still pushes him? That what still motivates him?
Great question because it is hard to comprehend still that drive to get up in the morning and do the runs, to go to the gym,
Yeah.
every day and spar. And when you've achieved everything as far as in the ring and financially, but that has made him a little different than most. Early on, he was very mature, even at a young age. He loves boxing, and I think he still wants to keep writing at legacy. It can't be money anymore, and it can't be like, you know, uh, my legacy. I think he wants to continue with legacy and really solidify his name in the record books and his name in history. And he's done that, but I think he wants to still do it. And he always said he wanted to retire at a certain age, and it's getting close to that, but it hasn't hit there yet.
There was tension at the press conference in New York at the Fanatics Fest, huge festival hosted by Fanatics. The press conference was hosted there, actually. Many boxing people, it was a surprise to them that there was a big festival on and the press conference was there because from the eye, it looks like everyone's there for the press conference, but really they were there for the big festival. Many of them were non-boxing people. Anyway, there was theatrics there. What do you think of that sort of theatrics when Canelo pushes someone like that? Is that stage? Is that him being showing signs of he's losing his cool? Take us into Canelo's head.
I will tell you from experience with him, he will not do anything that's fake. It has to be real. In the past, when hey, to help the pay per view. Remember, this is not even pay per view.
Yeah, Netflix.
Um, but you need to help the pay per view. That he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. That wasn't him. He would now provoke him and expect a response, as we've seen in the past with Plant.
Yeah.
Plant really, threw a shot at him or swung at him, and then he responded. I believe from what I saw yesterday, and that again speaks volumes for Crawford, because if you see when they did the face off, they were very close to each other. But I see Crawford really begin the pushing with his body.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins would get in these little tight moments of, okay, let me feel this guy. Let me feel his weight. Let me see how strong he is. Because if you haven't started camp and you're already this strong. Oh man, I got my work cut out for me. So I think that was a book, a page from the book of Bernard Hopkins of really feeling Crawford, feeling how strong he is. And I think when he started pushing back to see is when Canelo pushed back, like, hey, you're not gonna, try to intimidate me or disrespect me. So I don't believe it was antics. I've read a couple comments because they're not used to seeing Canelo do this.
Yeah.
So they think, oh, this is stage. They were having dinner a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, and now all of a sudden. But I think it was more of like, hey, don't disrespect me. And as far as the press conference in the Fanatics event, I think that was that was brilliant. That was brilliant because I didn't know about the